We're running it back, boys, and we now have Aaron Rodgers healthy. I've got 3 new starting offensive linemen. And again, Mike Williams is more name than substance because he gets hurt a lot. But if I can add Mike Williams on the right kind of deal, then you have an offense that may not be as good as their defense, but an offense that's going to cause problems.
So 2 days ago, you said that they should sign Mike Williams. Yesterday, they signed Mike Williams. Craig, when you take a look at the skilled offensive players for this team, known for their defense, you have to admit they've got a nice little team, no matter if you're a Jet fan or not.
I have to admit.
So, what are realistic expectations for this Jets
Super
team?
Bowl.
Realistic.
Here's the thing. I know because it's the Jets, that sounds like I'm a clown and don't deserve to host a national TV show. I understand that because it's the Jets. I get it. Like, what kind of clown would go on national TV and say the New York Jets have legitimate Super Bowl expectations beyond aspirations? Is that a fair expectation? And the answer is yes. Now, we joke around in the show a lot about you're one thing on paper, you're another thing in real life on a field of play. And a lot of that's based on injuries and kind of the unfortunate blanket of incompetency that the New York Jets have played under for a very, very long time. But if you allow me just for a moment to point out a fact, and it can't be argued, and take fandom out of it, take how you feel about me out of it, the New York Jets have the capability now of having a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense in the NFL this year. Will they? Probably not. They're the Jets. But from a standpoint of where we sit today, March 20th is today, I think? On March 20th, 2024, the New York Jets have, and I said it yesterday, I'll double down on it again today, the most talented roster they have ever had in their franchise's history. And they have a top 5 capable offense, and we know the defense is already top 5. So there's no reason at all for anybody to think that the New York Jets don't have realistic expectations of winning the division. We can argue that, obviously, because you do have Josh Allen coming back, and whatever the Dolphins' offense is going to be. But expectations of fighting for the division title, having a home playoff game, which they've never had since MetLife Stadium was built, and making a run. How far that run goes, obviously it's March. How the hell do we know? But the New York Jets right now, and give Joe Douglas credit, in what's a lame duck year for him as general manager, what Joe Douglas did this offseason is damn near a miracle because you've replaced 3/5 of your offensive line. You've got, when healthy at least, a rock star deep threat wide receiver talent. Obviously, Mike Williams. Defensively, they're already top 5. And while, we like Bryce Huff a lot, he only played 40% of the snaps for them and was never on the field against the run. And Whitehead's entire season was really the one game where he had 3 interceptions. And, find another interception that he had throughout the rest of the season. I'll wait for the response on that. You have the semblance now of a really good team with competency on both sides of the ball. Obviously, it's all based on the health of Aaron Rodgers, much like the Bengals are based on the health of Joe Burrow. The Bills are based on the health of Josh Allen. That's no different than any other team. Yeah, my guy's 40, and he's coming off a torn Achilles, but right now in the moment, I have the best collection of talent my franchise has ever had in its history. So to answer your question for a second time, Mr. Jacoby, the expectation today for the New York Jets is that we are Super Bowl worthy. And I'll leave it at that. Okay. And then I'll do a little dance. Because you know what the reality is, my friends? It's no longer the same old Jets. That's done. Right out the, you know what? Take that football and throw it through the window. Right out the window it goes.
Back.
Another season down the drain.
Yes.
You just injured Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers just got hurt. We're just the same old Jets.
Yeah. Tim doesn't clap when we do it.
He's back.
Yeah, there you go.
And yeah, go ahead, Will. You can go from there.
No, listen, the bottom line is you're talking about a Jets offense that was dead last. They ranked 32nd. It was absolutely abysmal on third down. The reason you got Mike Williams, if you will, because Aaron Rodgers does well with big body receivers. And when he sees 81 in the middle of the field, he has a security blanket, especially when you talk about the lack of production they had last year. When you talk about moving forward as far as expectations, the expectation is to win the division. The expectation is to hopefully go to the Super Bowl. But realistically, it all comes down to the health of this Jets team. You talk about Tyron Smith.
Yeah, but I got to stop here because
talk about Mike Williams.
We're obviously coming off a year in which Aaron Rodgers only played 4 snaps. So that's the most recent memory. You have to deal with that historically. That's what happened.
Right.
Can't deny it. Had no backup quarterback, the whole thing. But the cliche line, I use it as well, of health is a concern. That's for every team. Yeah. If Patrick Mahomes gets hurt, the Kansas City Chiefs are not winning the Super Bowl. So that's no different for the Jets than it is for every other team in football.
You just brought in a left tackle who misses 3 games a season.
I'll take that right now. I'll sign over that right now.
Quarterback who's coming off an Achilles heel. Health is first and foremost throughout the success of the Jets. Bottom line.
But it's just tell me one team that's
Let's
not
the
because you don't have quality depth.
Let's put health aside. Let's say everyone's healthy the whole season, all teams are.
Yes, then we win the Super Bowl.
My concern is Nathaniel Hackett. Nathaniel Hackett is my concern. You improved the line. You improved the wide receiver position. Quarterback, obviously, exponentially better if Aaron Rodgers is healthy.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Hackett is my concern because he proved to me nothing in Denver was a disaster.
Right.
Last year, had a lot of opportunity to adjust the offensive game plan and strategy to tailor to the various different quarterbacks he had and proved he could not do it.
Great question. Good point. A lot of people concerned like Nathaniel Hackett had a bad year last year.
2 years ago, bad year.
Bad year as a head coach of the Broncos before that. Absolutely right. I got to own that. That's there. It's on his resume. But to be fair, if you go back and look at the storied career of Aaron Rodgers, a guy that's won how many MVPs? 17, I think, at this point.
Okay, that's 17 MVPs.
I think Timmy fact check me on that. Was it 18? My bad, it's 18. I'm sorry about that. If you go back and look, the single greatest regular season that Aaron Rodgers had in his storied first ballot Hall of Fame career was with Nathaniel Hackett as his offensive coordinator. So I know what they can do together. And they're going to do it together because now you've got all the pieces he had when he had those great runs in Green Bay. You've got multiple threats at wide receiver. You have a really good tight end in Conklin. You've got a badass running game in Breece Hall. And oh, by the way, they also picked 10th in the draft. Correct. So what are we going to do? We're going to get another offensive lineman. If the best guy's available, maybe that's where we go. Are we going to get the Bowers kid out of Georgia because this is becoming a tight end kind of league from an offense standpoint? He fits that offense great. Are we going to go out there and get, the best available wide receiver? Whether it's Marvin Harrison, who probably doesn't make it a 10, or I'm blocking on the kid's name from LSU.
Neighbors.
Yeah. So the point is, we've addressed the far majority of issues we had going into the draft, right? Pre-draft. And now we become what we like to call in the business additive. Now the draft is like, okay, we fixed everything, every problem we had. Now where do we want to help ourselves a little bit more?
You need depth.
And I could go Bowers. I could go offensive line. Yeah. I could go best available wide receiver. I got a lot of kind of maneuverability right now because Joe Douglas has had the greatest offseason any Jet general manager has ever had. Wow. And I talked to the Jets yesterday.
Rest.
You told me?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
At the facility?
Yes, I did. News? And I can tell you, I'm not going to attribute this quote to any one member of the New York Jets, but I can tell you this. We stay healthy, we're going to win a lot of football games this year.
Oh.
And they're right. They're right. And by
That's
the way,
not breaking news, Craig.
What happened to you?
What do you mean what happened to
Turn
you?
your Jet card in.
I'm not turning.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't have to turn nothing in.
Turn it in.
I
You
don't have.
spent all last season riding for the Jets.
Listen, I don't have meniscus in my knees because of the Jets, right? So let's the Jets.
I got you get that one. All right.
So trust me, my
that.
Jets card is gold. At the end of the day, my problem with the Jets right now is you're talking about from a run game system. They're going from a zone gap system to now a power system solely because of the linemen they acquired.
Sure. Sure.
As much as we want this to go through the air, the safety net for the Jets the ball has to go through Breece Hall. They had to become more run dominant, even with.
And speaking of Breece Hall, guy had a great year last year, coming off the torn ACL, in which they wanted to slow play him, and he was on a pitch count early. Ain't no pitch count next year for Breece Hall.
They gotta feed him.
I'm telling you, listen, either get on a train or get out of the way. You know
who you sound like to me?
Who?
Jerry Jones.
Oh, is that right, Tim Hardaway?
That's how you sound.
Have you watched your fastball, Craig?
That's how you sound to me every day. Jets, Jets.
Yes.
The same stuff.
Well,
you put pressure on them. If you be quiet, maybe everything.
I don't buy it. I'm sorry. I don't live my life.
You don't buy it? Okay.
No, you know why?
Because you see what happened. You see what happened first 4 plays.
Yes. He didn't get hurt because of the pressure. He got hurt because Dwayne Brown sucks.
Oh, don't do that.
That's why he got hurt.
Don't do that.
Wow.
It was a 3-step drop.
He should have passed the ball.
Should have passed the ball. Should have passed the ball.
That was the play. Pass the ball.
Yeah.
The play was pass the ball.
Worry about your Bears. I'll worry about my Jets.
Pass the ball. Pass the ball.
Pass the ball.
Pass the ball.
Pass the ball, man.
Three
Why am I
drop
under
step,
attack?
pass the ball.
I was having a great day.
You're still having a great day.
Thank you. Coming up.
What's the next?
Coming up. These nuts. All right. Hey there. Thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.